Good morning. Bill Kim here. I pastor both the Presbyterian and Congregational churches here in Clarion, Iowa. My friend Mr. Bunn behind the camera and I have been doing this for a while now, trying to do a 2 or 3 minute sermon blurb summary every week. This week we read from Genesis chapter 13. There's 18 verses there. It's the story of Abram and Lot and their decision to separate. I'd encourage you to read that. Excuse me. Genesis 13, verse 1 to 18 is that entire chapter. And here's what I'd like to summarize this with. I think Abram models for us 2 steps, 2 important pieces to making decisions. 2 building blocks, if you will, to making decisions, all kinds of decisions. Number 1, Abram bases his decision on his faith and trusting God. Abram decides to let Lot pick where he wants to live with his family, and whichever side of the country, the land that Lot does not pick, Abram will go to. Abram believes, I think. Abram trusts in his faith in God and God's promise to Abram that he will bless him and guide him and direct him. And so whether he's on the left side or the right side, the east side or the west side, makes no difference to Abram. God has already promised that he will be with him. So number 1, Abram bases his decision making, bases his life on his faith and trusting God. And number 2, Abram lives his life out in an unselfish way. He bases his decisions, he bases the way he lives his life on an unselfish approach. Abram had every right to pick the best land and to have that for him and his family. Abram had every expectation as the elder, as Lot's uncle, that he would decide first where he wanted to go and take his family, and then whatever was left over, Lot would have. But instead, Abram let Lot go first. He let Lot choose, and then Abram took what was left. Abram was extremely unselfish in letting Lot go first. Abram was extremely, it's not about me, in letting Lot go first. Those 2 things I would encourage us this week to have as building blocks for the decisions that we make. There are 100 others that you could build on. Good. But I would encourage us to at least think about this week, those 2 things. When we make decisions, am I doing this with a faith and a trust in God? And how does that affect my decision? And number 2, am I doing this in an unselfish way? Does my decision model an unselfish lifestyle to those around me? I would encourage us to consider those 2 building blocks for making our decisions this week. Bless you.